of grounded stuff. Whoop, whoop. Sounds ridiculous, but it's actually so hard to even stick a camera in your face at like 6 in the morning. It's like 6:30 now. Normally I would be, and I'm whispering because my ones are obviously all in bed, and if they hear me vlogging they will literally come down and cut me. But normally I'd be straight to the gym, cup of coffee, protein chicken, straight in and get it done nice and early. But I've got a business course from a guy in Australia live this week from 7 to 11, so I'll be doing that most of this week before anything else. Just a cup of coffee to wake me up. As you can see, I've got creases in my forehead. I don't know why. Every single morning I wake up like that. I don't know what it's about, and they don't leave until I'm about to go to bed. So I'm just left with these eternal creases on my forehead that look, it must be because I'm having a coma rather than just asleep. Stuck into some work and we'll come back for meal 1. I'm gonna start the day with some greens powder. So this stuff is the fucking shout, because see, I try and have greens or fruit with every single meal, like veg or fruit. And what I find is in the mornings it's fucking hard to eat either. Like fruit's okay, but at the same time, first meal of the day I usually just like to get some sort of greens in like this. So I'll have a scoop of this in a shaker. I am going to be honest, like I think people do overlook quite a lot of the time, like the importance of micronutrients, you know. Like it's all well and good hitting your calories, but see if you're not eating good veg, good protein, good carbs versus good fruit, mainly fruit and veg, you just start to feel like a bag of shit. Like you just don't operate as well. And see, once you eat, like I eat roughly 6, 7 veg a day and 5 fruit every single day for the last couple of years. And see, whenever I don't get it, I just feel groggy. I just don't perform as well. I don't feel as good. It just fucks my head a little bit, and I'm sure if you ever ate food for a long time period, you know your body just gets in tune with it. So it's one of the benefits of whenever you eat really good all the time, you just start to feel better and you realise that you've been operating on like fucking 80%. So it's one of these things where I always make sure I'm getting veg in, so I'm never going to have that. And one other thing I do all the time is, see if I'm ever on a call or I'm ever doing anything like that, I always make sure that I cook almost practically just a protein shake, cup of coffee, cup of tea, nice and early while I was doing my work. Now we're in the second thing, I always just make sure to get protein in as early as possible, because I can make my meals bigger, but see, trying to get protein in, if you're eating like 250 grams like I am, you need at least 5 meals of 50 grams. So if you miss a meal or you push it back and you have less meals, like having 4 meals of 60 grams is just a lot of food. Then the protein's so like, it's so satiating that you just end up full all the time. So second meal, 200 grams of chicken, plain white flour bap, coleslaw's in there, and I have the weirdest sides ever here. I have orange juice, I have these bananas, and I have this green shake, and I'm not joking. This is probably the nicest greens powder you'll get. It's something neat, but I'm gonna be honest, there's not one greens powder that actually tastes nice. Like I couldn't even pretend like this is tasty if I wanted to. Like it still tastes like don't get me wrong, it's not bad, it's just, it's okay. And for a greens powder, that's fucking good if you get me, because you're never going to get one that tastes unbelievable. Jesus, yeah, take that back, let me wash that down. So I've been trying to do like a YouTube video a month, and I tell you what, like, see, getting the camera and talking to it and videoing yourself, it's actually a lot more difficult than people let on. Like, don't get me wrong, Instagram's easy, but making long form content, like, see, doing this, then editing it, it's actually quite difficult, and that's from someone who's quite consistent. And the thing is, like everything, you're only going to get traction with these sort of things if you actually commit to it and you spend time doing it. So I'm going to try and take you for a full day of eating. I'm going to talk you through everything I do to get 4,000 calories in, and this is during a period where I really want to highlight that I'm in like a bit of a funk. Like, I'm not really pushing up, I'm not really that, I'm just trying to hold now until the new year and then pick a goal where I want to go bigger or leaner. The reason I'm doing that is I'm pushing the app. So I'm launching this training app on Friday, which is literally like the next big thing in my opinion in the industry. We're talking here, you're getting personalized training, just like I'm coaching you on a one-to-one basis. You're getting your nutrition covered as well. Like, I teach you literally enough that you could fucking coach. So the beauty is that actually, to an extent, I plan on trying to, without sounding like a dick, trying to stop this overpriced online coaching that a lot of people are offering and actually offer a solution to people that's more affordable and gets better results. And that's literally what I'm all about. It's the reason I got into the industry, and I think a lot of the time people can get lost and they're making good money, but the real reason I got in is because there was so much confusion. I could never get in shape whenever I was younger. It melted my fucking brain because I didn't know how to get from A to B, versus like, I wish somebody had something like this that was cheap, affordable, I could have paid for it, and it would have literally skipped me 40 years rather than me fucking spinning in circles. Because I used to think I knew everything about fitness, and I literally, until I hit a point where I was like, I haven't changed in like fucking 2 years, and then hired somebody, you realise, so the idea is dropping the price barrier will allow people to come in and then realise that and actually get the result far quicker, and it moves you forward. So it's really just like, without sounding, it's giving back to the fitness industry, because it's exactly what I wish I had. So enough about that, but that's my main focus. There, I've had orange juice, I've had a banana, I've had an apple as well. I'm going to have another banana, I'm going to have 2 kiwis and some blueberries now as well. So practically the 5 fruit done. The veg concoction I had there is probably about 3 or 4 veg, and I'll continue to add over the day, but that's majority of the fruit already done, which is great, because then you just feel so much better. But the one thing I really want to highlight here is, see, the fact of, I've been feeling a little bit off lately, a little bit of it like in a funk, you know, like my training's been okay, don't get me wrong, it's never poor, but it's not been like unbelievable. And what I do is, see, whenever I feel like I'm in a funk, I always ask myself, like, what was I doing last time I was feeling good? And usually it always is the same answers. I was being really productive with my time, so I was time management, you know, planning my days, eating really fucking good, and training really well. And usually once I've got them 3 things in line, and number 4 is probably spend time with family. See, once I get them main things in line, and maybe a wee bit of a walk, like them 3 to 5 things in line, I just naturally feel better. And I might not even be up to doing all of them, but even if I can go for a walk, spend a bit of time with my family, start to eat good, even with training, I just naturally start to click back into flow and see, try and get out of a funk. And I'm sure if anybody's got that, like what I call a funk is like when your motivation's low, you can't really be fucked. And people think like, I'm not like that, I am like that, like quite a large amount of the time. So anytime I fall out of it or I don't feel good, I'm always consistent, but I always remind myself, right, what makes me feel good? What was the last thing I was doing when I was feeling great? And I just refer back to that. And I guarantee if you feel a little bit down, you feel a little bit off, unsure, always relate back to the last time you were feeling good. Not what you were doing exactly in that moment, but what you were doing in the lead up to it. And it was usually eating healthy, looking after your mind, your body, even your soul. Some people will think that's a bit hippie, fairy, but in terms of, you know, spending time with your family is what I mean by that, you know, what's good for you on the inside. Sounds a bit mental, but yeah, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I'm rewatching a lot of Game of Thrones. It's fucking so good. So I'm going to watch about 20 minutes of that while I have my coffee and the rest of my fruit. And then I'm going to go smash a purse session. Now I'm at the gym. The only reason I've swapped this slightly blurrier lens is to actually show you what the fuck I've been carrying around. Look at the size of that's what's on that camera. So it does show like the quality is obviously so much better on this. I'm trying to get half decent lighting. Like the quality is so much better on this lens. But like, look at the size of that whenever I'm carrying that around, and it zooms in so close, like you can't get any of the big shoulders or anything in. The quality is so much better on this lens. But like, look at the size of that whenever I'm carrying that around, and it zooms in so close, like you can't get any of the big shoulders or anything in. But realistically, that's us. I'm just going to try and set this somewhere. You've no idea, like you don't realise how, it looks so seamless to set up cameras, but like look at the fucking shape of me on this car here with that air freshener. Like I must be the most unaesthetically pleasing YouTuber there ever was and ever is going to be. Like look at that for an angle, like how do I even get that to sit right? I'm going to need something to sit underneath that. Do you know what I'll do? I'll sit maybe my keys, so you'll probably hear the jingle underneath it, but this is probably going to be the only way that I'll actually get that to sit. Well, that's still dark, but not bad. Yeah, so look, every time I come to the gym, I don't always take this. My sessions are a wee bit funny at the minute, so we're actually in a re-sensitization phase. So this is like a phase where we'll run it every 6-7 months. And practically what this is where we will do 2 sets of like majority of my movements. We're bringing all the volume of every exercise down to like minimal recoverable. So like in other words, sorry, what's the best way to put this? Like putting it down to like the very least you will ever need to hold or grow tissue. That music won't stop for some reason, so that's making the video awkward. So for example, like I'll go in now, my per session would usually maybe be 8 sets, 9 sets of chest, 5 sets of delts, and maybe 4 sets of triceps or something. I'm going to go in here and do 4 sets of chest, say 2 sets for a purse, 2 sets for flies, maybe 2 laterals and 2 triceps, and that'll be it. And it's just to resensitize you to the volume, because if you're hitting high volume all the time, your body will adapt to that, and then the stimulus is no longer needed. It's just like training to failure all the time. People think they are, they're not. Like it's impossible to train that hard every single week. That's why you don't really sensitize it. Some weeks you'll be able to go harder than others, depending on sleep, food, all that. But whenever it comes down to actually resensitization work, you only want to do this whenever you feel like you're maybe stalling out with progress, or just if it's hit a week or 2, you actually want to include it before you hit that period, because if you've hit that period, you've actually waited too long and you're going to need to do it for multiple times. I'll not do this for a week, so it's not a deload because you're still training with a max intensity, but it's just the least amount of recoverable volume. So over the week I might hit 8 sets for most muscle groups, if even. And it probably is about 8, and that doesn't sound like a whole lot, and it's not. I'll just run a push-pull legs, push-pull, probably not even hit 8 for quads, hammies, glutes. I'll probably hit like 6, and literally this is just to keep getting me stronger, because when you actually drop the volume, you actually train harder, and that stands in your favour tenfold. So it just makes the entire process better, because then you enjoy the training more, because you're not just getting hammered with these high volume sessions all the time. Your joints get a bit better, your motivation to train goes up as well, because after hitting the gym for months and months with high volume, eventually you just say, like, my joints can't handle this, and your motivation does go. I am dry scooping this Nova Pump Neuro. I'll show you this before I scoop it. So it's non-stim. I don't even know if that'll... Can you see that? Yeah, you can maybe see that. Nova Pump Neuro. It's a wee bit bright. I'm going to try and get a better angle. Nova Pump Neuro. So it's quite good. Non-stim, because it's... I like to save my caffeine for when I actually need it. Like, going in the gym, I'm actually excited to go in, and I don't like taking caffeine. Like, it's 12 o'clock now. I don't want to be taking it fucking... I'll maybe have a cup of coffee when I go home. But, like, I want to save that for doing the second work block. So, down the hatch with this dry scoop, and Jesus, blew it all over my dad's car. He's going to kill me. Oh, sweet Christ. It's like taking a load of sherbet. I don't dry scoop because of any benefit. I just dry scoop because it wakes me the fuck up. It's like eating a pack of sour candy. That flavour, by the way, is called sour apple punch. There's one called unicorn piss. It's fucking metal. And if you ever tasted... I hope they haven't tasted unicorn piss, but it's one of them things when you taste it, you're like, I know where you're coming from with this. Like, I can actually... Not that I've drank many unicorn pisses, but... Much unicorn piss. Look, I'm rambling here. I'm going to go train. Yeah, I'll try and get a montage. I'm sure it'll be pretty badly lit, just like this. Yeah, so when I'm on a call, I always cook as much chicken fillets as I possibly can. So there's about fucking 7 in there. So that's literally protein done for like the next 2 days if I want it. Oh, I keep flicking between portrait and landscape. So for example, I videoed the last fucking set. Portrait, yeah. Vertical, Jesus, my head's way, because you film everything for Instagram one way and everything for YouTube another, so my head's minced. So look, we're going to dive into this session. I've already done 1 set of flies. We're doing 2 sets of fly, 2 sets of presses, 3 incline cable curls, 2 push downs for triceps, and 2 or 3 sets for lateral raises. I need to check my logbook. Still focusing on getting really, really strong. Volume is low now because we're resensitizing. So low volume, but pushing strength. So we're still focusing on getting stronger. And then the thing is, whenever we move from a low volume split back to something high volume, 3, 4, 5 sets per week, we're going to bring that new strength with us. And it's going to mean that our volume is actually going to continually increase throughout the entire time period, even with the low and high volume. Because high volume is literally just more sets and reps, but you're still increasing volume by increasing weight lifted. So either way, you're constantly increasing volume. That's what progressive overload is in the basic form. All right, let's start strong. Chest proud. Always remember when you're doing a fly too, elbows wide and then elbows together. There's no point just focusing on the hands, they'll do nothing for you. You want to focus on the elbows because that's going to fully contract your chest over time. On to the Atlantis press, where yes, I done 5 plates aside. I forgot my mic for this like an absolute dingus, and we're going to go back into the video now. Cuff laterals. One thing I've seen loads of people do is whenever they do a cuff lateral, one thing I've been doing flat out with my cuff laterals, I've seen John Jewett do it, my coach recommended it as well, is whenever you do a cuff lateral, hold a handle. It seems counterintuitive, but it actually gives you a far better squeeze in your delt. When you do the movement, always focus on dragging your hand along the ground and then along the wall, and you'll always get a better squeeze in the lateral head because you're focusing on wide, not up. When you're focusing up, you tend to use a little bit more trap, I find, and you don't get as good a feel on your lateral head because your lateral head's function is to drive the arm out wide and up. Don't get me wrong, it's to lift the arm up, but pushing it wide will always give you a better squeeze. Into incline cable curls, making sure to keep your elbow behind you and really get a good squeeze at the top. I don't just text in between the sessions. Logbooking. I just use my phone, which I shouldn't. I'm going to get another logbook, but I always just spill shit on my logbook or lose it, versus I never lose my phone, touch wood. So I just find this a really handy way to do it. Always leaning slightly forward throughout. Fuck, that's tight. You'll always see I wear like multiple layers, and the reason is you just pump up better. Then whenever you're cold, you never look as good. So it's like whenever I get somebody to go do a photo shoot, I always make sure they've got plenty of layers on. Not just find you pump up far better then. Jeez, better get that off. Stay there, I'll make no odds. Fuck no, I'll just blur you out. Or you can be in it if you want. I'm like National Geographic with it anyway, it's fucking massive.
If you're ever doing push downs, I always find the cuffs way better, because whenever you use a rope or anything like that, you always get fucking terrible hand pain in there. It just crucifies you. So you eventually, whenever the weight goes up, you'll have to move across anyway, because your grip will just start hurting your hands. Unless you're a real man, then you just deal with it. But if you're like me, and you like a little bit of softness in the hands, the cuff's a great shot. It just feels far better, far more natural. And look at that horseshoe. Ooh. Oh Jesus, thank Christ. In you go, you boy. Oh Jesus, need to zoom out. Jesus, that's not a good look. That was one of them sessions you get where it just nothing clicks. You know, I went to start my headphones, they're dead. Charger didn't work, so sometimes things don't go right. As I always say, the first set is like the most important. It's the one you really need to focus on. So all I did was just really focus on smashing that and then let the rest take hold. Now, was it the best session ever? No. Did I PB most of my lifts? Yeah, but I just really tried to zone in and beat most. One or two there I didn't beat, and that's even on the low volume. So you're going to get sessions like that, but just remember, every single week you just need to progress a little bit, another rep here, another rep there, and then over time. The main reason that people never get results is they're trying to be perfect. They're trying to progress every single minute. You're going to get funks. You're not going to feel good. Certain sessions aren't going to go well. So one of the main points I want to take home there, especially with the way that the quality of that session is, you just have to show up, because sometimes them sessions turn into your very best one. That one was actually solid enough, but even whenever you're in a funk, you don't feel like going. Remember, when you don't feel like going, you can't be arsed. The session isn't going well. That session counts for 2, because that's whenever people don't go, they don't put in, they just tick the box. You want to make sure you smash it, because every session is going to go unbelievable, but you need to make sure you get the most out of each and every session to the best of your ability at that time point. Your best on every day is going to be different, but show up and give it everything you've got, and then in the long run your result will be so much better. It's the one thing I wish I did earlier, was stick with it for longer at the start. Just be consistent. With consistency, effort and time, you'll always get a result, even if your training plan's not perfect, your nutrition is not perfect. Consistently good is better than perfect every once in a while. So home for post-workout here, let's get to it. There's no point in me even trying to pretend like I'm like some gourmet chef. Like, see, whenever I get my veg in, I literally can't even be arsed slicing the tomatoes half the time. So looking at some carbs that are easy to digest, I can barely speak, which is like the BAP as well. And then we've got 200 grams of chicken, which is like 45 grams of protein. I'll track that a bit, but plenty of calories going in. I will hit 4,000 and I'll track and add up, but I roughly eat the same things all the time. It's like deja vu here, just eating the same thing again. Good though.
Oh, it's a shame here. Look at this office behind me. It just looks messy. It doesn't look good, but this is after a super fucking productive day. I just went into absolute monk mode because I'm launching this on Friday, so I need to make sure everything is fucking perfect. I just came back on to literally say, I would say since I came home and had that second meal, I've literally been just working. And that's it. So I'm gonna have a third meal now. I'll talk you through that, but this is literally my sister's bedroom that I turned into a fucking office, and until I decide where I'm in this weird stage of life, and I'm sure you probably know this too, or I'm sure I always talk like I'm talking to myself, but I'm sure you get this stage of where like I'm unsure if I want to live here or in Spain or elsewhere for my first house. It's sort of between here and Spain. So it's one of these things where, oh, fly, midget. No, well, that's how easily distracted I am. But until I decide that, I'm still unsure. And then the thing is, see, whenever I'm talking about living at home, I'm like, where do I want to live? What size of house do I want if I'm going to be traveling a lot? So I've been sort of dilly-dallying with this decision a while. Normally I flip a coin for it, but this isn't like between two things. I've sort of decided that I think I want a house at home as well. So now I'm trying to figure out the size of it. You're by yourself, and I'll end up living here anyway. I think whenever I move out by myself into a big house, I would end up coming back over the crack with my ones anyway. I have a really good relationship with them, which I'm grateful for. But I'm at that stage now where as well, I'm so ready for my own fucking space, because I'm constantly away for 3 or 4 months at a time. And then coming back and having to live here for like a month or two is very, very tight. So it's one of these things where I'm trying to get in, I'm trying to make that decision, but it's actually quite difficult. And I'm sure there's plenty of you that are struggling with decisions right now. And do you know what I always say? I'm just like, I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. Yes, there is downsides to maybe living at home, but there's also pros. Do you know, like I get to spend time with my ones. Once I'm moved out, that's me forever. Do you know, I'm never coming back. So it's one of the things where I'm really enjoying even the small cups of tea with my dad and my mum, because I'm not going to have that forever. Do you know, I'm going to have to call around for that. But I do think then the plus side of that is, when you call around, there's more intention, there's more there, because sometimes you can just be like passing the night when you live with people and don't appreciate them. But I feel like now, because I know I'm going, I'm really appreciating it with them. And that's it. So I'm going to run you through the next meal. I'm hopefully not going to have another fucking chicken sandwich, but we'll run through whatever it is. So I was just about to get my fourth meal, which obviously first meal was shake, second and third meal chicken. I was about to get the fourth meal in, and then all of a sudden Shauna rang, and I guess she's left her keys in the car. She's after work, she's standing out in the cold, so obviously the saviour himself has to go down. Where are you? Throw us them bad boys. Thank you, that's me off. Save the day. Fuck, I locked myself in there. I was talking to the camera and I actually locked the door instead of opening it. That's how
you're telling yourself.
I am. Jesus, you near took the wrist on me there.
Nice. You don't need, you only have 2 wrists.
That's me. Well,
alright.
Save the day, no me. It's tough work being the good child saviour, but somebody's got to do it, you know, yourself. It's tough life being responsible, I'll tell you that. There's no way that camera is going to hold our wide footage, and you talk shite as well to fill this, so you zoom in, tune in and listen up. Oh, this looks badass. I'm actually getting distracted by just looking at myself there. That's definitely not... I wonder, is it illegal to do this? Well, there she is there, froze to bits, look at that. Come on here. Well, what a day. The day I decided to start vlogging.
Oh, great.
There you go. Here.
Thank you very much. My fucking hands are freezing. I can't even feel them.
Jesus Christ, you're a saviour. There you
I
go.
hope my fucking keys are in work. Lord only knows where the fuck they are. Thank you very much.
Some say the city doesn't deserve a hero like me, but, you know, there you go. Another soul saved for the big man. Fuck, I just may not be the hero Neri deserves, but I'm the hero it's getting. I can't even speak anymore. So this is dinner. Now, this should probably be on a separate plate. So this is the heel with peanut butter. Now we've got a steak and veg. But I honestly think it's a crying shame. It's not right, people who throw out the heel, is it, Mum?
That's why you're giving me money. That's why you're loaded.
Because I'm eating the heel of the bread.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I love a bit of heel.
Who eats the heel of the bread?
Love it.
This day and age.
Love it, me.
What do you think this is?
Me.
It's fucking, there's a recession happening, Claire.
Yeah. She doesn't care. She's living off the fat.
Life.
Recession doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
She's here.
I'm on benefits, doesn't affect me.
Who your mates are?
Yeah.
A milk starch. So that is that meal done. Literally toasted there. Left the fat of the steak, and I'm washing it down with another glass of milk, and I'm gonna have another slice of bread with some peanut butter. Easy way to top of the calories. Milk now, it's not great for digestion because lactose always just kills hunger over time. So if you're bulking, liquid calories are good, but using a lot of lactose or a lot of gluten or even a lot of foods that are like high in fat can actually slow down digestion or cause issues, and actually makes your hunger die off more. So sometimes what you'll notice is men purse these up whenever they're like bulking, but these actually can kill you in the long run. They're like a short-term fix, and then they give you more long-term issues. I don't know what way I'm holding this, but there you go. That's another meal done and dusted. I don't know what concoction I'm going to throw last, but the only food group I'm really missing now out of like my non-negotiables is dark chocolate. I've literally had everything else. I've had 5 fruit. I've had probably about 7 or 8 veg now over the day. Dark chocolate, I've had peanut butter, I've had a mixture of protein sources, you know, chicken, whey, steak. So now I've had 3 different protein sources, a couple different carb sources, fruit sources, veg. Like, your health, your macros is covered now, so it's realistically just about getting calories in and just being smart and not overshooting with sugar. Oh, Jesus, you can't really see much. I need a better light. Does this have a light? Yeah, there we go. Oh, Jesus. You're probably wondering why I'm back out in the car. Well, my OCD got the better of me and I had to go for dark chocolate, so instead of driving to Tesco like a smart man, I drove around to my sister's, stole 2 scoops of whey, stole 4 squares of dark chocolate, and that's practically my day accomplished. Had a little bit of milk as well. Calories need to tot up. I'm probably due another wee bit of protein and stuff, but realistically I've definitely hit, like, I always just make sure that this looks like a spooky horror story, but the way that I've got this laid out, but yeah, it looks like I'm about to tell a ghost story. Once upon a time, there was a boy who needed protein, dark chocolate, called to his sisters. Fuck, people are gonna think I'm nuts when they watch these videos, but this is actually the way I go on all the time, so there's no point me pretending like I'm anything else. This is literally me at the root. So, hope you enjoy this. Please let me know if you do. If you don't let me know either, because it's going to wreck my confidence. And look, we'll just call it there. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Have a good one.